What's up guys, welcome back to Aquatic Elements. In today's video we are hopefully going to be getting some new fish for the Monster Fish Mega Tank. Now you would have seen in the last video the tank is still slightly cloudy from the new sand, but it is much clearer. I can see all the way through, all through 8 feet of water, and it's clearing up day by day. Now I haven't actually done any more water changes. I'm going to give it a few more days and then I'll probably do a 30% water change or so. But I've been informed that there are some really nice fish that may suit the Monster Fish Mega Tank at a local Maidenhead Aquatics, a local fish shop, which is around 40 minutes away from me. Now I've never seen these fish in person. There are 2 different species that I'm going to have a look at, and I've never actually seen them in person, but I've done quite a bit of research on them and both of them seem compatible. So we're going to head out now. I'm going to head off to the shop, see what fish they've got, and hopefully I will return with some new fish for the Monster Fish Mega Tank. So let's hit the road and see what they've got.
One eternity later.
Now I have just got back from my little trip to my local fish store, and right next to me here is a poly box, which means we got some new fish for the Monster Fish Mega Tank. Now as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I've never seen these fish in person before. I would say they're a really rare fish, especially at this size, because I've personally never seen them and I've never even heard of them. But I've done quite a bit of research on them. They seem really peaceful, they're really strong, so they're not going to get abused by the arowana. And basically, let's just get them in the tank, let's get them acclimating, and then we can talk a little bit more about them. Now, as you can see, I've got the poly box in front of me. These are not small fish. I was a little bit worried that they might interfere with the arowana, but hopefully they're going to be occupying a slightly different level within the water. Now, I bought the last 3 that they had in stock. Now I would have liked probably a few more, but I think 3 is going to be ample for this tank, and obviously it gives us a little bit more room for some extra fish, because I really do want a few other feature fish, maybe some catfish or dapnoids, etc. I previously mentioned. But when I heard about these, I thought I've got to go and have a look at them and give them a try. So I've nearly got the lid off the poly box open now. Hopefully they're doing alright. They've been in this box for around 40 minutes, an hour or so. But they are all looking really good. Now, the poor guys in the local fish shop did have a bit of a struggle catching these because they are pretty crazy fish. So I'm going to open the lid up, I'm going to lift them out of the box, put them into the tank to start the acclimation process. So as you can see, here are our 3 new fish for the Monster Fish Mega Tank. Now let me bring the camera a little bit closer and you guys can check them out for yourselves. Now for those of you who do not know what these fish are, because a few days ago I had no idea what they were as well. These are actually called Hampala barbs, and I've got 3 in the bag today. Now these originate from India. They are a type of barb. They can get absolutely ginormous. They can get to sort of like 22 inches. However, they are a super slow growing fish. Now from my research that I've done, these guys are super slow. You may struggle to even get a couple of inches on these fish every single year. I've seen people that have kept these fish for sort of 4, 5, 6 years and they've only even got them up to 12 inches in length, and they say they are super slow growing. So when I heard about these guys being a really large size, this guy here is about 11 inches, nearly 12 inches long, and the other 2 are around that 7 to 9 inch range. So I think these are going to be super slow growing. I've had a look online and researched through multiple different places. They're really docile, peaceful fish. They are very good eaters. They will eat anything you chuck in the tank. They are not aggressive to larger fish within the system. Obviously, if I put any tiny fish, they are going to eat them. They're really strong, so I'm not going to have any issues, or shouldn't have any issues, as my arowana grows larger and gets bigger, because currently he's the boss of the tank. They're nice active fish and they're going to occupy this mid-water level. Now it would have been nice for them to be a little bit smaller and for me to be able to grow them out, and also for me to get a group of 5 or 6. That would have been really nice to see them shoaling around the tank, but unfortunately these were the last 3 left. Now, a couple of them have a little bit of fin damage from when they were bagged up and they've been in the box, but that should heal up over the next few weeks. I can't see any sort of real red areas, so I'm not too worried. But this guy here is absolutely huge. They've got this really stunning scale pattern, these really nice outlined black scales, a nice black bar, and then they've got these red fins. Now, obviously, over the next few days, their colors are going to brighten up. They're going to become a lot stronger. They will be quite washed out because they are stressed, and you can still see the tank is slightly cloudy. I did say in the next video that it would be crystal clear, but I heard about these fish and I had to go and grab them, and I'm sure in the next video we shoot, the tank will be crystal clear because it's clearing up very, very quickly. So let's let these acclimate. They were at 25.5 degrees and this tank is at 26.5. So I'm going to give them about half an hour, then we can release them into the tank. As with most acclimations, I would take the fish out of the bag and put them into the tank. But these fish went absolutely mental when the guys at the fish shop were catching them, and when they were in the bag, they were jumping like crazy. And I do not want to risk injuring these fish or getting them fly about on the floor, anything like that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to let them into the tank with the water in the bag. They've only been in there for like 50 minutes now, and the water's really clear. They haven't released any sort of waste or feces, so I'm not really too worried. They have been at the shop for a long, long time. These guys said they've been at the shop for, I think, like 6 months or a year even. So they've grown out nicely. They've been in captivity for quite a while. They are similar to a marcia that come from India. They got that similar streamlined shape, and they come from highly oxygenated, fast-flowing waters. We've got obviously a lot of air going into the back, and we've got a 6,000 litre return pump. So we've got a nice flow around the tank, and this tank is much, much bigger than what they were in. They were in a 6x2x2, which I think to my knowledge holds like 600 or 700 litres. So this tank is, I'd say, 2.5 times what they were in, so they're going to be very, very happy. Let's let them acclimate for a little bit longer, and then I'll catch you when we release them into the aquarium.
A few moments later.
These guys have now been acclimating for 25 minutes. I've used my laser temp gun to make sure the temperature is the same in the bag as it is within the tank. As I mentioned, I'm not going to risk netting these fish out because they are so strong, they are so jumpy, and I really don't want them to injure themselves or fly across the floor. This tank is nice and mature, so it's going to be able to handle any sort of ammonia that's built up within the bag, and we've got such a large water volume that I'm really not worried about it contaminating the aquarium. So I'm just going to open the bag here, and then we're going to release them in, and then we can check them out in their new home. Nice and peaceful, straight into the aquarium. I'm going to get that lid shut straight away to make sure they don't jump out. As you can see, they've gone straight down into the bottom of the aquarium. You can see them in comparison to the size of the stingray. Now, the arowana is at the other end of the aquarium because he's probably like, what's going on? I was the king of the tank and maybe I won't be anymore. But they're looking absolutely lovely. I'm really loving the colors. The arowana, maybe you can see him, he's coming over to see what's happening. But I'm gonna give them probably a few hours or maybe even tomorrow. Let's see what they look like tomorrow, then we can take a close look at them, maybe even give them some food on camera, and hopefully the tank will be a little bit clearer by then. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully they settle in nice and nicely, and I'm really excited to see their colors start coming out and what they look like in the Monster Fish mega tank. So it is actually 2 days later. The fish have settled in so well, and finally we have a clear aquarium once again, so you don't need to wait for the next episode. Luckily the water has really cleared up and the tank is looking phenomenal. Now, for those of you who saw the last video, we actually added the new sand in, and it's really offset the colours of the fish, and I'm so glad that I put in that effort and actually made that change to the aquarium. But back onto our Hampala barbs. They're doing really well. They've settled in nicely. They haven't actually eaten yet. I'm going to hopefully give them some food in just a moment and we can see if they eat. Now, generally these fish have a really broad diet. In the wild, they'd be eating small fish, insects, some crustaceans. They're sort of like a predatory cyprinid, part of the sort of carp family, if that makes sense. And I did say at the beginning of the video they come from India, but they actually come from Indonesia, Thailand, the Mekong River, I think Borneo, Sumatra, that sort of area, and they're from medium to fast flowing rivers and streams. They are actually a food fish, and they also are caught by anglers as well. So they're really fast fish. I can tell that if you're fishing for them, they're going to give you a really good fight as well. So they've settled in really nicely. I'm so glad they have a much bigger environment as well than they did have. A much larger environment, so they are looking really happy, swimming around together. Let's head round the front of the aquarium and let's give them some food, see if they eat, but if they don't, at least we can see the arowana and the stingrays eating, and you can also see what the tank looks like from the front view. So as you can see, this is the front angle of the aquarium, and it has really cleared up. Now it is getting to crystal clear, but the tank is really nice and clear, and I'm so happy. Now that bubble wall is still putting a little bit of sand onto the bogwood, but it is not nearly as bad as it was with that super fine substrate we had. So overall, I'm very glad in the last video we did change the substrate. Now this whitish grey sand has really allowed the fish colours to pop, and the new Hampala barbs down in that bottom corner are looking absolutely fabulous. So I've got some mussels and chopped mussels and chopped prawns just up here, and also some bloodworms, hopefully to entice the Hampala barbs to eat. Now I'm not sure if they're going to eat. I believe they've been on a diet of pellets mostly, but in this tank they're going to get lots more meaty foods, a little bit more of their naturalistic diet, and hopefully they'll put a bit of weight on, maybe colour up a little bit more as well. So Alexa, turn off the flow. And now the flow is turned off, so I can give them some food. Now I assume as these Hampala barbs get more and more used to the aquarium, they are going to be attacking food really aggressively, because from my research online, they absolutely go ballistic apparently. I'm not too sure if they're going to take this just yet. They are kind of sussing it out. I'm sure they probably get used to it as well. They're just probably not used to eating this kind of food at the aquatic shop. But they've come over, had a little bit of a look. I'm not too worried. These guys probably go weeks and weeks without any food. But they're definitely having a look. Can't really see if they're eating anything just yet. But we should get all of the rays come over. The arowana is always first to get a little bit of food as well. And overall, I'm really happy with them. As I said previously at the beginning of the video, I'd never actually heard about them until sort of 3-4 days ago. And I like to keep something new and different, something slightly different to what everyone else would potentially keep. Now, I was planning to go maybe with a sort of small group of Geophagus to be a little bit of a sort of clean-up crew in the aquarium. But it's nice that I managed to find a different type of fish to put in here. So the sort of schooling fish and the main schooling feature fish is complete. And I do want a couple more fish. Now I'm not too sure what just yet. The stormy eye or stormy catfish is definitely something that's right at the top of my list. But on the flip side, I don't really want to overstock this aquarium. Obviously, these stingrays are going to get big. They're going to grow well and get really large. But obviously, I could potentially find homes for fish if I need to in the future. But that's not really an ideal scenario. So the stormy eye or stormy catfish are definitely the top of the list. And I do really want to try datnoid as well. But obviously, I've got to be a little bit careful with the stocking. We are probably getting a bit to the limit. Obviously, we've got 35 kilos of biomedia in the internal sump, which would fill out a really big sump filter. So we've got a nice turnover as well. But overall, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the new fish added to the monster fish mega tank. I'm very happy with them. I'm going to be doing daily updates on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube Shorts as well. So make sure you check out the links below for the other social media channels. But that's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up and happy fish keeping.